This is my 2019 Harley-Davidson Heritage Classic, and it's not only my first Harley-Davidson, but also my first motorcycle in over 30 years. Now, I bought it second-hand about 5 months ago because I wanted to get back into riding motorcycles. This is the bike that I really wanted. It's a killer looking bike with that old school vibe, and I'm super happy to have it in my garage. Now, being a 2019 model, I knew it was already out of warranty when I bought it, which is a risk I was willing to take. Now, the bike's history has a bit of a funny story. Apparently the bloke who had it before me was a mechanic. That's why it doesn't have much of a service history. Now, why does the old owner always seem to be a vehicle mechanic of some sort? Anyway, it's really been well looked after. It's incredibly tidy for its age and kilometers, and while it's not flawless, it's bloody tidy. So when I bought it, like I mentioned, there's no official service history after the first 8,000 kilometers, and it's now due for a 32,000k service. And apparently this mechanic did all the servicing himself. So I did what you're supposed to do, and I will call up my local Harley-Davidson dealership to get a quote on how much to do a 32,000k service. They told me a 32,000k service would set me back about $650 to $700. And I wasn't really surprised by that quote, but it did kick off this massive debate in my head straight away. That sort of money, I could buy a bunch more tools to work on the bike, get a Harley service kit, some plugs, the filter, etc., all the extras, and probably still have enough cash left over for a weekend away. So it really makes you stop and ask the question, do I cop it on the chin and pay the premium for the dealership peace of mind? Or is this the moment I get my hands dirty and learn to do it myself following the Harley service manual? So in this video, we're going to break down the real costs, the pros and cons of both sides, and suss out which is the best way forward. So my first reaction, and I reckon this is true for a lot of us, was to just book it in, hand over the keys. Look, I get it. There's a powerful sense of security that comes with taking your bike to a Harley dealer. It's the path of least resistance, and it's got some solid points. First up, you're paying for a certified expertise. The mechanics at Harley-Davidson dealership are factory trained. They live and breathe these bikes day in, day out. They've been trained on the specific diagnostic tools and repair methods that Harley-Davidson itself lays out. Now, for a modern motorcycle like my 2019 Heritage with its Milwaukee 8 engine, that carries a bit of weight. They have access to proprietary gear like the Digital Technician 2, which plugs into the bike's brain in the way most independent workshops can't. Now that means they can spot issues, run software updates, and make sure everything is running correctly to the manufacturer's specs. They also then have a record of what's been done to your bike. Then there's the parts guarantee. Dealerships use genuine HD parts. There's no mucking around with the quality, fit, or compatibility. Using OEM parts is one of the best ways to keep the bike running good, and maybe just as important, protect its resale value. When it's time to sell, a service book full of official dealership stamps is a massive selling point. It tells the next owner that the bike was looked after by the book, with no cut corners. Finally, there's that simple, hard to measure feeling of peace of mind. Their work is warranted. If something they did isn't right, they're on the hook to fix it. You drop off your bike, you get a call to pick it up. When it's ready, you pay the bill and you're right away, just like you bought a new bike with a fresh stamp in the book. Now, for a lot of people who just want to enjoy the ride without the hassle of working on their own bike, that convenience is worth every cent. You're not just paying for an oil change, you're paying to save your time and not have to worry about it. So if the dealership service sounds so good, then why did I even balk at the price? Why is this even a dilemma at all? The answer is the number that started the whole thing, the cost. Let's be honest, dealership service is bloody expensive. Labour rates can easily top $150 an hour in some places, and that adds up very fast. A 32,000k service on a Softail could probably take a couple of hours, and that's just before you even get into the parts and fluid, which also have that dealer markup. That initial quote isn't just for the oil. A huge slice of that pie is for the mechanic's time and the dealership's overhead. And it's not just the money you pay when you get a service, it's the overall experience itself. A lot of us, we've felt that classic pressure of the upsell. You go in for a scheduled service, The next thing you know, you're getting a bit of a lecture about needing new tyres, new brake pads, a laundry list of other things you weren't even planning on paying for. Now, while some of it's fair enough, it can feel more like a cash grab than a service consultation. It can make you feel a little bit less part of the family and more like you're a number on a work order. Now, that feeling of being just another transaction can really put a sour taste in your mouth. Now, that isn't specific to Harley dealership. That goes for many dealerships, from cars to bikes and everything in between. Now, these people, after all, are trying to make some money. This is what triggers the DIY temptation. The idea of taking that service money and turning it into a new skill, a solid set of new tools, and potentially some money left over. And that's pretty compelling. It's the difference between being a customer and being a more knowledgeable owner of your bike. Now, going the do-it-yourself route is about so much more than just saving a few bucks though. For a lot of us, it's about building a deeper connection with your machine. It's the satisfaction of knowing that you get to do the work and you understand every single nut and bolt that keeps your bike alive. Now, the most obvious win is saving some of that service money. Let's do the math. I went online and priced out everything I'd need for the 32,000k service. I get the official Harley Davidson service manual, which you can download for free using your Harley VIN. Then the parts, you buy some top shelf synthetic oil for the engine, primary and transmission, a fresh oil filter, new spark plugs, an air filter element, etc. Now in Australia, this sets you back about $350. Now, of course, you're going to need tools. That's the initial investment, but here's the beauty of it. You buy them once, a good set of sockets, both metric and standard, because yes, Harleys do have both of those and it's a must. You need some funnels, an oil drip tray or catch can, Allen keys, proper torque wrench to get everything perfectly tight, and an oil filter spanner. You can build a fantastic, high quality toolkit for servicing and working on your own bike. Now, if you start from scratch, tools aren't cheap, but you can do a service with a pretty limited set of tools, so that saving from the service is probably enough to get what you need for many of us DIYers who have the tools already. So for the first time investment of maybe $400, you can do the service yourself. That's $100 saved on every service after the initial cost in specific tools, and you'll just be up for the price of fluids and filters. But this isn't just financial, it's the knowledge you gain from doing it yourself. So when you follow the manual, you'll learn why you're doing something. You learn to check your belt tension, how to inspect your brake pads for wear, what to look for to catch small problems before they become bigger ones. Now, that knowledge builds confidence. It demystifies your machine, turning it from this complex beast you're afraid to touch into something you understand. Now, that confidence is priceless when you're 100 k's from anywhere and you hear a weird noise. Instead of panicking, you have a baseline of knowledge to start troubleshooting from. There is, of course, a third path that sits right between the dealer's price tag and the DIY commitment, the trusted independent Harley mechanic. Now, this can often be the best of both worlds. A lot of these indie workshops are run by passionate, expert mechanics, many of whom came from dealerships themselves. One of my recommended independent Harley mechanics is Farris Customs, located in Nambour, Queensland. Now, if you're looking for a top-notch independent, go see Farris Customs. They specialise in Harley Davidson. They're fantastic and they'll make you feel like you're part of the family. I was so impressed when I went there to get a roadworthy for my bike. Now, the biggest plus here is that while you may not save much depending on the independent, an indie shop can give you the option of using quality aftermarket parts to give you more options to personalise your bike. Now, the service will often feel more personal too. You're usually talking directly to the person who'll be working on your bike, which lets you build a real relationship. They're not always tied to the rigid corporate structure, which can be a godsend for custom bikes or for sussing out weird or very specific problems. But the independent world has its own risks. The quality can be all over the map. While many workshops are incredible, Some might not have the latest training or the expensive diagnostic computers needed for newer bikes. You absolutely have to do your homework. You need to read reviews. You need to ask other riders for recommendations and find a shop that has earned a reputation for being trustworthy. It's a cracker of an option, but it requires you to vet the mechanic yourself. So, after laying it all out, the paths are pretty clear, but the choice is still deeply personal. It's a trade-off between the money, your time, your confidence, and what you really want from owning your own motorcycle. And that's where I want to hear from you. What do you prefer to do? Are you someone who just rather take it to a Harley dealer? Are you a proud DIY with grease under your nails? Or have you found a top-notch local Harley mechanic that you swear by? Drop a comment below and tell me how you handle your servicing on your bike. I read all the comments and I'm generally keen to hear what you say. So, in conclusion, where did I land in all this? After weighing up everything, I've decided to go the DIY route and do it all myself. So the massive cost saving was a huge factor, obviously, but I have a bunch of tools already, and the idea of learning more about my bike, of taking on that new skill, that really sealed the deal for me. So this is my bike and I want to be the one who knows it inside and out. I've already ordered the oil filter, the seals, some additional tools, and have a service manual, and I'm keen to get my hands dirty. Look, this isn't me bagging out the dealers or the independent mechanics. They both play a crucial role, and there'll be absolutely jobs that I need them for down the road, complex diagnostics or internal engine work, where I'll gladly pay the professional. But for the routine maintenance, the stuff that is the lifeblood of your bike, I'm taking this into my own hands. It feels like an investment in myself and in my connection with my bike. It's the next chapter of my Harley story and I'm super keen to get started. So if you've made it this far, thank you very much for watching. If you like this episode, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you want to follow me on my motorcycle ownership journey. So stay safe and thanks for coming along for the ride. We'll see you on the next one.